In a quaint village named Witcher, there lived a young and clever monk named Milo. Unlike his peers, Milo was mischievous and had a knack for finding humor in even the most serious situations. One day, as Milo strolled through the village square, he noticed a commotion outside the local bakery. A heated argument was taking place between the baker, Mr. Higgins, and a customer named Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson, a short-tempered lady, was insisting that the loaf of bread she purchased was smaller than the one she usually received. Curiosity getting the better of him, Milo approached the two, wearing a mischievous grin. "What seems to be the problem here?" he chimed in, adding a twirl to his words. Mrs. Thompson glared at him. "This baker is trying to cheat me. The loaf he sold me is much smaller than it should be." Mr. Higgins, a stout man with flour on his apron, replied, "That's not true. I always give the right amount of bread. Maybe your hands have shrunk from all the kneading you do at home." The villagers gathered around, curious to see how Milo would handle the situation. Milo, with his keen eyes, picked up on something. "Ah, I see what's happening here," he said with a smirk. "There's a simple explanation for this. You both are right." The puzzled duo looked at him, not understanding what he meant. "Well," Milo continued, "it's all a matter of perspective. Mrs. Thompson, you are right in thinking the loaf is smaller because you're comparing it to your usual loaf. And Mr. Higgins, you are right in saying you give the right amount because you compared it to what you intended to sell." Milo had managed to turn a tense situation into a light-hearted moment of insight. He then suggested, "How about we settle this with a little experiment? Mrs. Thompson, let's weigh your loaf and see if it matches the standard weight for a loaf of bread. That way we can put this delightful little debate to rest." The baker and the customer agreed to the idea, and together they weighed the loaf on a nearby scale. Lo and behold, the weight matched the standard measure for a loaf of bread. Both Mr. Higgins and Mrs. Thompson were taken aback, realizing they had let their tempers cloud their judgment. They thanked Milo for his clever intervention and his ability to bring humor into serious situations. Milo taught them the importance of stepping back and seeing things from different perspectives, that sometimes the truth lies not in being right or wrong, but in understanding each other's viewpoints. Milo's playful yet profound approach to life left a lasting impression on everyone. The village of Witcher became a more tolerant and harmonious place, where people embraced laughter and wit as valuable tools for learning and resolving conflicts. And so, the mischievous monk Milo continued to sprinkle his humor and wisdom throughout the village, reminding everyone that in the dance of life, it's the steps we take with a smile that truly make a difference. And so, my dear friends, may we all be inspired by this tale. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe the channel for more future videos.